So I got this question on stream the other day, and I wasn't really thinking it was something I needed to make a video on, but I do sometimes gauge just random daily videos on things that I do see or questions that I have been getting asked. And I thought about it a little bit, and I was like, you know what? This could help out some, newer players that hear a lot of good things about Kama and see that she's on rate up and are wondering if she's worth going for. So one thing we're going to touch upon in this video is how good she is right now, how good she's going to be in the future, and some other future rate ups that you should be keeping an eye out for if right now is not a particularly good time for you to be summoning on Kama. Although I will give you a warning or a little bit of a heads up that Kama does have very rough future rate ups. Like, she's really not going out on rate up at a very advantageous time if you're trying to go for a lot of the hype characters. So that is just the Kama curse, I suppose. But as per usual, like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff, and let's just start talking about this. So, Kama right now, you might have heard that she gets a really strong buff in the future, and in fact, I have this pulled up in a different window. I can actually show you this. It's a buff to her NP. Now, right now, her NP, it's solid, right? You have this 80% chance to charm that is compounded by her third skill over here that lowers, their ability to be charmed. So basically, on most enemies, you're going to guaranteed get the charm. That's really nice. And then stacking a 20% quick buff, that's really strong, especially when she can overcharge her NP on her first skill. She's just doing a lot of very good things right now. Although, I will say, if you have an NP1 Kama, currently, she can be, I don't want to say lacking in damage sometimes, but sometimes she might not be feeling like she's hitting all that hard, especially on a first NP. Although, I do want to say that just talking about future events, those like big 1 million bleached earth enemies we're going to be able to get, even with my NP1 Kama, no ruler Scotty, depending on the face cards, that Kama can still one-turn those. So it's not like her damage is terrible, right? It's not like a Maxima Broken Black Grail. It is a little bit of RNG dependent, but she could be hitting upwards of like 700k, right? Like, she could be doing some really good damage. Like, it's just saying that yeah, you might not be doing like Mondo millions of damage, but you can still get some pretty effective hits with Kama, especially again as you stack your NP as the fight is going on. But the big thing that helps Kama out is the introduction of the power mod. So not only does this give her a pretty big boost in her base damage, as you can see here, she's going from 1200 to 1600. That is a 400% increase in how much damage she's doing, but also she has a power mod against charmed enemies that does have the potential to proc over here whenever she uses her NP. Think of somebody like Kashin Koji, right? You know how Kashin Koji on her NP has the chance to bound the enemies, and then if they do get bound, she does bonus damage to them? It really helps Kama out a lot. If it was stuck to one of her skills, like the Avenger Kama, she would only be able to do one turn of really good damage unless you had other servants or other buffs to apply charm onto them. But because she can do this functionally every single time she fires her NP, and it's a pretty good 80% shot just at its baseline, you're pretty much going to have access to free, power mod damage from Kama, because it is a 150 normal power mod. And you'll see that, yeah, she's like pretty high up here. I mean, before Lilith came out, I mean, she was kind of King Big Dick of Quick Mountain, right? Like, she was kind of dominating over here. And I mean, truthfully, she's still outdamaging the NP1 Lilith. It's just, don't pay attention to stuff over there. Don't ignore the power mods, right? Those aren't real. Trust me, those aren't real. Don't worry about Lilith's power mods. Don't worry about the 5 entries we have over here. But it does lead to her being quite a strong servant. But things to consider is that we are a bit off from this. This is a bit more recent, beginning of this year, over on the JP side of things. So it is one of those things that you kind of have to wait for. You're investing in the servant for more of an investment, right? And the bad thing is, Kama does frequently get rate ups. If you check the wiki, they will show you all the different rate ups they have. Although I do find the ones where they're the lucky bags to be a little annoying, because that's not really rate up, right? You only get one shot to try to get them. The ones that you want to be focusing on are like these ones, like the Paper Moon Summoning Campaign 2, which is where we're at. And then you can see the only other real rate up she has is coming at the 9th anniversary. And this, I mean, to be fair, is a pretty stacked banner. I mean, you've got some powerhouses on here. From Yang, Tolmaius is very strong. Kentoki will always be really good. Kenshin is... We'll just wait to the end of this year when we get to talk about Kenshin. Kenshin is something else. This servant is bonkers, right? So not only is this very stiff competition for Kama, but also, if you're summoning on this banner, you're not summoning on the anniversary character. And I know that for most of you guys watching this video, you would much rather summon on Space or Rescue. So that's something you got to keep in mind. Right now, summoning on Kama, you have this, kind of conundrum, right? Where if you summon on Kama, you have less Saint Quartz for Anniversary in the summer events, but hey, at least those are like a month or two away, right? You got a little bit of time. This is like right on Anniversary. This is a secondary write-up that's going up alongside all the Anniversary shenanigans. So it's like, you're kind of right there. There's no wiggle room in between. If I'm a huge Kama fan and I'm looking at the best one that I want to go for, obviously, if you don't care about Space Ereshkigal or any of the Tsukihime characters that are going to be coming out for the summer event, I guess, or Ordeal Call 3, whatever you want to call it, if you don't care about any of them, then yeah, by far, way better to just wait over here. Her buff's going to be right around the corner when they drop this raid up. You can get her, use your Anniversary Saint Quartz, bada boom, bada bing. But if you are like 95% of the player base and you are a big fan of Space Ereshkigal, or God forbid, Golden BB, new MHXX, I mean, CL's gonna be coming out, like, I don't know if any of these are particularly interesting to you, like, if any of these are characters you want to go for, then it might be better to try your luck now on the current banner. Although, that being said, that is still a little bit rough, because the characters around Kama, I'm not gonna say that they're, like, crazy, but people like Durga and Saber Medusa are still relatively popular, right? I mean, Durga's another Sakura face like Kama, and Saber Medusa, I mean, this is good Medusa, right? We actually have a good playable Medusa that's legitimately very strong. In fact, when Saber Medusa came out, I was thinking of calling her like the best single target quick character in the game, right, at that point, because she's just really, really strong. There's debate on that one, right? But she kind of just had everything. I mean, she had like a decent battery, she could do good damage, she had a good power mod. Like, she's just doing a lot. Like, she's just very, very strong. And so then it kind of comes down into, if you wanted to summon for Saber Medusa, you're not going to have a whole lot of turnaround between, now summoning on Kama's banner and her banner that's going to be dropping in, what, like maybe 2-3 weeks from now? Maybe that's when we get the feed event. Maybe that's when that's dropping. So it's just kind of judging whether or not which of these banners would be better for you to go on. Are you going to deal with at least a little bit of a reprieve right now before Anniversary in summer, or do you care less about the other summer, so maybe you wait on that one? Because Kama's a legitimately good character. She's very strong. And with the buff, she's just even stronger, right? Like, she was, again, in those talks by people in the community, is like, oh, is this the best, like, single target, like, quick character we have in the game? I definitely think New Dante's is a bit better, but I mean, that's where she was being held up to, because she can do some pretty ridiculous damage, and she is just doing a lot of very good things. Having a free power mod on anybody that can be debuffed is quite strong. I mean, there's a couple of bosses here and there that are like, oh, they're immune to charm because of one of their passive skills, or they have debuff resistance, right, because they're just that cracked, right? They're just that chatty that they don't get charmed or anything. But when you are able to use it, especially in like 90++ nodes, most of those random enemies aren't going to have charm immunity or something. So you just be able to dumpster on any, riders or berserkers you find, or even any alter egos. Because don't forget, Kama can be your alter ego killer. That is another very strong thing that she has in being able to take those guys out. So realistically, do I think the character is worth rolling for? Yeah, like, Kama is legitimately good. She is strong. If you do decide to roll for the character because you like them, you shouldn't feel bad. They're very good. I still use them on both of my accounts. If I need an assassin, I'm reaching for Kama. If an alter ego needs to die, I'm probably reaching for Kama. If, God forbid, there is a berserker that needs to get shot by Cupid's arrow, I'm bringing in Kama. And the same thing can be said over on JP, especially over there because my box is more limited. Anytime we can break out Kama, she's getting brought out to break somebody's ankles. So don't feel bad about rolling on the character. Just kind of decide which of these two would be better for you to roll on. Another thing you can try to bank on is that we get a lot of bonus write-ups over here, I guess if you want to call it that, on NA, because, they want to keep us on our toes. So they're like, oh, JP didn't get this bonus banner. Here you guys go. Here's a never-before-seen banner. It's like, great, they're just trying to rob us of our money. But you can take advantage of that greed and, plan that, oh, maybe they'll drop some random Kama banner, right? You can kind of cope on that a little bit. I don't think that's the most ridiculous thing to cope on, but I wouldn't bank on it, right? Because you never know what servant they're going to bring back around. They might say, well, Kama just came back for Paper Moon. Maybe we don't need to bring her back around. And especially, like, this banner isn't particularly crazy. Like, Lanling is, he's aight, right? He's okay. He's, not the worst character, but, I mean, I would probably rather have the Summer Nobu that's on the other rate up. If you're really not caring about the characters that are around you, you just care about the banner. I mean, I guess you could be like, well, I mean, Caster Giles is story locked. This is my chance to get him at higher NP copies. But ask yourself this: do you really care about getting your Caster Giles NP copies up? I mean, it's not Bedivere, it's not Caster, and I doubt that anytime soon they're going to be dropping some Mondo buff to make this guy crazy. I mean, they've tried. They've gave him a couple of buffs, and he's still a unit. We'll say that. He's still a character of all time. That one is for sure. But I think the other banner is a little bit better with the Summer Nobu. But Lanling is also pretty strong. With the advent of the Grand Fights and knowing that you could only bring that class to fight that specific Grand Servant, having somebody like Lanling, who is a support Saber, is really good for that in particular. But does that mean, like, you should go summon on this? It's not like those fights are that hard anyway, so I'll leave it up to you and your discretion. If you have any further questions, I stream every weekday, although next week might be a little odd. Next 2 weeks might be a little shaky. I'm doing a little bit of traveling. I'm going to try to stream when I can, but we'll see. That being said, we also have the Discord that has the FGO channel down there, so if you are in need of some assistance and I'm not streaming because I'm losing to Stummy Herd or I'm traveling or something, right, then someone there can also help you out with that. They can look at your box and people can help you judge whether or not it's worth going for, especially if you're like, oh, Kama's my favorite character. They can be like, well, for your box, maybe you can just wait, maybe you'll be fine, or maybe you should summon right now. Who knows? But with that being said, I hope this video was at least a little bit helpful, and if it did, a like on the video and a subscribe would be greatly appreciated. And with that being said, I'm going to stop yapping, and I'll catch you guys in tomorrow's video. Peace, late, guys.